Hey guys, Youngblood with you, and today I wanted to talk about something that was shown at the Gamescom demo and the presentation that wasn't really clear before, and that's the way that voice integration is going to end up working in the game. Now, I've said a lot of times that there has to be some real benefit to using in-game voice chat, since we're pretty sure that there's going to be things like signal jamming in place that would make the usage of something like TeamSpeak or Discord a better solution for performance, seeing as you can't be impacted by in-game events. Now, my suggestion was to tie your in-game voice to some positional effects in-game so that you know exactly where someone was who was talking, so if they requested help, you could get there as quickly as possible. Now, something like that may end up still happening, but what they did implement is something that's very cool and is really just basically a mic input directly into the game for a VoIP system, not just a spectrum overlay. And what that ends up meaning is that your character can have real-time conversations with another player as opposed to just using chat through text. Now, this has a huge benefit in that you're not just sitting there typing, which makes you vulnerable, but you can start to multitask and do other things. So let's compare two options here and say that you're exploring a wreck for some loot, and all of a sudden while walking down a corridor you see another player that comes around the corner and you're face to face, both of you have your guns drawn, but no one is shot yet. If you only have text, someone has to take their hands off of their weapon controls to type a message, which means that you're left very vulnerable to being killed. With voice chat in-game, you can stay ready to fire or evade if necessary, and you can start a dialogue through VoIP, saying things like, hey, I'm not here to get into anything with you, or I don't want any trouble, or something like that. That overall has implications to your effectiveness with really everything in the game. You know, let's say you're loading a cargo hold, you can talk to your buddies to pass the time, or to say, hey, place that crate over there, without having to stop to type that message. If you're flying, you can give commands or targets without breaking your engagement. You can even sit and have a virtual drink or a bite to eat while you're discussing your upcoming mission. These have a lot more impact when you're playing with people you wouldn't normally have on your third-party voice server, and means facilitating group play with randoms becomes a lot easier, or just if you have a large organization, you may not always be, friends with people in a third-party voice system. So I think in the category of immersion, there's a possibility for this technology to make the world feel a lot more real, and also a very weird place at the same time. Now, in the immersion breaking category, it'll be a little bit odd to see a full-grown man avatar with a kid's voice, or a female player with a gruff male voice. And I think it could pull you out of the world a little bit. Though I think probably eventually this is just going to become kind of status quo, and you're not even going to think twice about it. Now, I think it does create some interesting environments when you're hearing like ambient conversations and kind of murmurs in the background at places like bars and trade depots. I think that also means that there's a chance to be like a little bird and kind of gather information by sitting in a bar and having a drink and kind of eavesdropping to gather intel and then selling that information or using it on your own. Maybe you hear somebody's going to rendezvous with a well-known pirate that has a huge bounty, and that may be a good way to get paid. On the other side of that coin, you may be a pirate that overhears an organization talking about moving a shipment of valuable goods, and they can gather their crew to pull a heist. Or maybe you just hear somebody talking about a cool, a site that they found while exploring, and then you can go and take advantage of that situation. Either way, it's another step towards creating an interesting world with exciting gameplay possibilities, and I think it really just kind of opens up a lot for us. They also showcase their Faceware partnership, which basically uses facial landmarks to kind of track where your facial features are and how they move. And this is going to allow for inputs from your face using landmarks to kind of coordinate with the animations of your character to show the motions that you're doing. But it should also look very natural, as you're not mirroring your own movements in the game, but using the default lip, nose, eye, and other movements from the character or the mocap artist, so your personal movements don't look different from those of the person that actually kind of created the character. This is even going to track your eye movements, meaning that your character will display where you're looking, and I think that has some interesting gameplay implications when you're dealing with others. Can they tell that you're shifty or nervous? Can you wait until someone looks away before taking advantage of that situation? Those are the types of things that I think are really exciting, especially when paired with in-game VoIP stuff that we already talked about. Faceware is currently in development of a camera sensor combination that's going to run at 60 frames per second, meaning that you get smooth inputs and better lip syncs, and it's really designed to work in near dark situations to where you're only really lit by a monitor. And finally, CIG is taking that information and they're going to be able to use it in-game to do head tracking like you have with Track IR to look around without the need to have a headset on with reflectors. And Faceware is actually developing that sensor and camera for sale. It's the first real hardware that they're developing for commercial purchase, and that's something that should be available to us at some point down the line. So I think what CIG has done here is really incredibly impressive, and it takes some real steps towards a lot of immersion while providing some really exciting gameplay options through all of this. I can't wait to conduct some videos from the bridge of my Polaris, or for those who want to do cinematics. I think this opens up a whole new world of possibilities. And really, I think we got a lot of good stuff out of this Gamescom this year, but I think for as far as the audio and the visual stuff that were surrounding the in-game voice and the Faceware, I think that was the most exciting stuff for me. So that's going to be it for this. If you guys have questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll keep you updated as we get more information on this down the line. Have yourselves a wonderful day, and take care.